right, sweet. So here's what I put together. Audra was kind enough to just give us a little background.
Yeah.
Just like 2 slides, right? So could you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so then this is it. So I have semi-shitty news.
Okay.
And the semi-shitty news is that yesterday and the day before, a lot of these programs stopped accepting new applications and have now formally run out of money.
Okay.
That being said, this is why it's only a little bit bad news. I want everybody to have all this information and to get ready to apply, because there's been daily rhetoric that they're going to refund these programs. And every one of these institutions is saying, queue up. And as soon as the money flows again, we'll disseminate it all over.
Got it.
Okay, so I can email you this slide to send out to your contacts.
Okay.
But this is pretty much it. So this is the bulk of it. And I broke it down to people and businesses with W-2 and businesses without W-2.
Right. Okay, cool.
So on the left side here, so without W-2, these are your sole proprietors. These are your independent contractors. These are the guys that are just getting 1099 miscellaneous.
Right.
And they didn't have Gusto or ADP or Paychex and have anybody on W-2 salary.
Okay.
And this is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, EIDL. And I have a link here, and I'll click to it in a second. But this loan was $10,000, supposed to be immediate relief, a loan or a grant. These are the types of people that can apply for it. As of April 10th, it opened up for their application.
Yeah.
Sole proprietors, independent contractor, 1099. And it was super simple. It takes about 10 minutes. You go to the SBA's website. I'll click on this link in a second and show you what happens when you do go. And it says, hey, notice of lapse of appropriations as of yesterday.
Okay.
So you can't apply for that yet. And then at the very end, when you can apply, this is where you go for it. You put in just your personal information. You put in your business's information, if there is an EIN or not.
Okay.
And then you put in the bank account.
Okay.
I want to tell everybody that's in your network not to feel like they got left out or to feel like they missed the boat or they didn't know about this sooner. I applied the minute this was available, and I know a dozen other people that applied the minute this was available. Nobody got this loan.
Okay.
Nobody I know got this relief. So this is here. I feel a little bit hollow telling everybody to go do this, but This is literally all that was at anybody's disposal. And I know nobody that got relief from it.
Right.
But when this does come back online again, and supposedly it will, this is where to go. These are the terms for it. Queue up and get into that system.
Got it.
Okay.
So
now,
then we've got the
second
PPP.
loan, yes, is PPP, and this is for businesses with payroll. This one is a mixed bag. So this one, I do want your list of contacts to search and to go forward with this application if they can find a lender. And the way this works, and the most important part, and what nobody's hamming up, is that you can't apply for this directly to the SBA. You have to apply for this through a commercial lender, a bank, whoever has your business checking account.
Okay.
They have an SBA rep that will take your application, screen it, and then submit it to the SBA, and then disseminate the money back to you.
Yeah.
Chase Bank yesterday at 11:56 sent me an email. We're no longer processing. All of our money's been accounted for. First Bank has not said that.
Okay.
And there's a list of banks that actually Gusto, a payroll provider that we both use, has compiled a nationwide list of like 250 banks and where they are and who's accepting. And I think I can skip to this slide and show you guys. Can you see this?
Yes.
And I'll send you this also so you could send this in a blast to your contacts. But this is everybody as of the 16th, as of Thursday, who's accepting and who isn't.
Okay.
So Bank of America still accepting. But you're going to have more success going with whomever you have a banking relationship with already. So a lot of the requirements for like Chase or for First Bank or for Wells Fargo was, did you have an account here by April 1st?
Right.
If you don't have an account with anybody that is accepting, Gusto actually has 2 lenders that they're offering people to apply through, Lendio and another group. can do it. PayPal can accept your application and do this for you. So this loan for your client list, your contact list that has W-2, I want them to fight for it. Like, don't give up on this.
Right.
I know that a lot of the appropriations have been spent, but here's my understanding of the way they appropriated it. They had $350 billion, and they gave it in proportions to all these banks. So while Chase, this big bank, already had their $50 billion spoken for, that doesn't necessarily mean that BBVA didn't. And they got $10 billion, for example, and they haven't, applied all of that or appropriated all of that to people requesting it. So let's do this. This one is still real. And this application, I do know a handful of people that have gotten it. I haven't. My other coworkers who have small businesses in my office have not gotten it. But this one, I do know some people that have.
Okay.
So I want to tell people, hey, get in queue, line up, and then you'll see here, look, there's still a handful of banks. But First Bank, look at this, is now suspending.
Okay.
So this resource guide will tell you who's going to take it. Fundera, still accepting. Whatever Fundera is, see if they'll take you guys,
Okay.
So let's get that in. And then the other resource page I wanted to share with you was for your 1099s.
Yeah.
And your sole props. This is where you would go. This link here, SBA.gov funding programs.
Okay.
Now this is just the lousiest notice.
Right.
Here it is. Lapse in appropriations. Excuse me. So I was super excited when we decided to do this.
Yeah.
Informational webinar for all of your contact list, and then in the last 48 hours it's changed. And I just want to give some bedside manner. It has changed daily.
Yeah.
So don't get discouraged. I know everybody is suffering right now, and all we could do is just remain positive and put ourselves in line.
Right.
And if something shakes out, great. And if not, at least you put yourself out there, and when the money does become available, you'll have queued yourself up to get it.
Yeah.
So this is where it was for the 1099s. And then one last thing, actually, I wanted to, if you have 2 more seconds, this is for every one of your contacts. Okay. This is for that $1,200 stimulus. Right. So this is for everybody personally, just a side note, not business related, but every single person with a Social Security number is qualified to get this $1,200.
Yeah.
And right on IRS.gov, here's where you can go. Now, if you have a family member that didn't need to file, they're basing how they're going to get the money on 2018 and 2019 tax returns. So if you had direct deposit where you had to pay or receive money, and you put that on your 1040 tax return, and your address was current for 18 or 19, they'll either do a direct deposit or they'll mail a check to one of those two places. But there's a handful of people, and a lot of my clients had elderly grandparents or parents that were collecting Social Security and didn't have an affirmative filing requirement.
Right.
How is the IRS or the U.S. government going to know to get them their money? So you could go right here on IRS.gov for non-filers and just put in a couple of pieces of information. It's really, really basic. And you'll see it. It's just your name, your address, your social, and how to fund. So you'll enter it right here.
Got it.
Okay. And then the second thing I'll tell you is if you did have to file and you moved, you can update your address and you could give a new bank information right here also. So get coronavirus tax relief.
Yeah.
So this is for people that filed and didn't get a refund and didn't put their direct deposit information in, or want to update with the IRS. And then here's a third tool. You can check your payment status. So if you did file your 18 or you did file your 19, the IRS knows exactly where you are. Your banking information is current. Well, where's my $1,200? I didn't get it. You can go to this page right here and put in your name, your social, your information, and try to track it. Back to more confusion. This has not been very successful. So a lot of people I know have just gotten it. A lot of people have tried to track themselves and have gotten like a failure notice to track you. It doesn't mean anything. Don't think that the IRS does or does not know what's going on. This is just, sadly, a lot of pandemonium, a lot of chaos right now. They're trying to roll out a 300 million person stimulus package, save businesses, save lives. So there's a ton of notable hiccups.
Yeah.
But this is this is what I got. And I've been involved in this since day one, trying to keep my ear to the ground to figure it out. And I know you and I did a lot of good work on this, just 48 hours ago, and it's totally different.
Yeah.
So nobody should feel like they missed out. Nobody that I personally know got that $10,000. I've only heard through the grapevine of a handful of people that have got PPP, the payroll protection program, which is where you'll submit a W-2 and proof of what you did for 2019. And then this is how, non-business owners and people that your contact list would know that are not business owners but still could receive $1,200. This is another resource tool for them. So that's my spiel.
So it sounds like the best route, the route with the most potential is probably the PPP program. And do you want to?
I think that's the one.
Yeah. And you were saying basically what they'll do is it's based off of your W-2 payroll, and it's 2.5 times your monthly W-2 payroll for the year. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Becca. I was just trying to give an overview, so I didn't give the details. So the best one that I think is out there for your contact list that has W-2 payroll, the way the math works is it's based on 2019, and they will take an average of your monthly salaries that you paid out in all of 2019. So let's use round numbers. So let's say you paid $150,000 in total salaries for every employee for 2019. The math formula will take that number, $150,000, divide it by 12, get that number, and then multiply it by 2.5.
Right.
So 150,000 divided by 12, approximately 12 times 2.5 will be approximately 30, let's say, for example. So then you would qualify for stimulus money put into your bank account for approximately $30,000.
Right.
That will either be a 1% loan that you could pay back over 2 years, or completely forgiven. And how it's completely forgiven is if you, and this is very political, the U.S. government wants you to keep paying people.
Right.
Now, so this is team members, employees that you have on payroll that you could just keep giving salaries to, and that's their desire.
Right.
There is no specifics in here, and you and I talked about this, where it says, if I'm the business owner, well, I couldn't just pay myself a salary also, and then that means my salary is forgiven. One of the other ways that this is also a loan that turns into a grant that's forgiven is if you use it for rent. Everybody has a rent obligation.
Right.
So up to 25% of that hypothetical $30,000 that you just received could go towards rent payment. So $7,500 on that $30,000 example, if you just pay your rent, they'll let it go.
Yeah.
The idea behind this money on the PPP is that you will almost emphatically be forgiven for this money, and this is just stimulus money that the U.S. government's entrusting to small business owners to then disseminate and to keep into your world, into your economy. Pay your employees, pay your bills, pay your rent, pay your utilities. Yeah. If you pay your utility bill, that will also be part of the forgiven money, where they just deduct it and say, hey, you paid your electric, you paid your water, you paid. And then one of the other big ones is mortgage interest. Okay. So if you made a mortgage payment, what percentage of that mortgage payment on your commercial property for business had interest, that will be forgiven as well. So the idea is that they're putting the money in the hands of small business owners to then keep paying their bills.
Right.
And then they'll hopefully wash it away.
Yeah, that's awesome. So business owners.
I wish I had better news. I wish this was still rocking and rolling. And I'm so sorry that this webinar, or this series, or this content is less relevant, but it literally, as of yesterday, is changing. And then today they're going back into session to talk about, and the Republicans and the Democrats, and I don't want to get into politics, but, they're going to try to do another round of this since it was so well received.
Right. Well, that's cool, though. I mean, the PPP is a great strategy right now for business owners who have production managers, administrators, secretaries, people on their staff that they have to pay, or paying, like you said, rent. Didn't you say health insurance can be covered as well? You can use it to
I'm so sorry. You're right. And health insurance, and then health insurance and pension benefits.
Okay.
So the biggies are 75% of this money they want to go towards payroll.
Okay.
And then the remaining 25% of the money that they dole out to you that can be forgiven would be rent, health insurance and benefits, 401k, pension funding, keep doing that, utilities and mortgage interest. Those are like the big 5 or 6.
Got it.
But the bulk of it is they want you to take that money and pay salaries.
Right.
And between you, me, and everybody else you're going to share this with, does that mean you could pay a salary to yourself as the principal? Does that mean you could pay a salary to, and there is no clarity on it.
Right.
And in the absence of information, I'm going to tell you emphatically, go ahead.
Yeah.
Pay yourself a regular salary and believe that that could be forgiven.
Right. That's cool. Well, I definitely think that helping people navigate through, like, here's where to start. We just did this yesterday for everybody that will listen to this. Dave kind of walked me and Zane through this 2 days ago, so that's what we applied for. But if you have people you have to pay and stuff like that, the business can be helped by the PPP program. So maybe not so much with the injury disaster loan. That one sounds like maybe it's not rocking and rolling as much, but I think this one is a good start for people who need to keep people paid right now if they can't work. So
there are some other things that are going on statewide. I encourage everybody to check their state, Colorado revenue.gov.
Right.
Check your state. Some of the states are doing that. I know Denver City had their own special program, but then again, I know nobody that actually qualified or had them roll out. And then unemployment. A lot of money is going to flow through unemployment. So if you have team members, as I do, and we had a huge shutdown, so I actually had to just have really lousy conversations that I'm sure a bazillion people that are going to watch this also had to have.
Right.
Unemployment right now is supposed to be getting federal support to get $600 per week per person that applies for unemployment. So as you're talking to your team members or employees that unfortunately, if there's no work, hey, go on unemployment, you'll get 65%. This is Colorado and it's state by state.
Right.
But in Colorado, you'll get 65% of your wages plus every week of back pay. The government now through this $2.2 trillion stimulus is claiming that they're going to give you $600 a week in additional stimulus money on top of that. So that's a really, that's one of the few programs that I know is working. I do know that the $600 per week has not flowed from that $2.2 trillion to the states to then disseminate.
Yeah.
So, but I have read specifically on Colorado's website that when they do get that money from the feds, that they will do all back pay.
Yeah.
So if you've been on unemployment for a month now, anticipate getting $600 per week.
Right.
Since you've been on the program. So that's another great social service right now that's out there that I know could potentially help people and help your team members. It's not like anyone that you were working with business was flopping. We're just all in kind of like, desperation time to just get money to people that we care about to keep them in house and home and eating.
Exactly. That's right. Cool. Well, anything else pertinent to share at all, or?
No, I wish, again, and for like the last time, I apologize. I wish I had better news about these being flowing and me having success stories. I guess these are the two biggies. This really dissects a ton of noise that people have probably heard over the last 2.5 weeks. Where was my money? What's going on? PPP, if you do have W-2 payroll, apply for that. It's based on 2019. If you're just self-employed person or an independent contractor receiving 1099 money, check that website link. I'm sure, Becca, you'll share this, and I'll send you this one slide page. And then work with your local government to double check on your state website to see if there are any other STEM programs that are available to you. But this is the bulk of it for now. And again, if you need anything, obviously anybody could reach out to me and they can contact you to contact me. And I'm just sadly spending my days trying to talk people through this. Share insights. So if I hear something, I'll immediately reach out and give you another update.
That sounds good. So folks, we'll keep you posted, but Dave Weishaus, everybody, he's my, he deals with all my accounting. He's my CPA, gives me all my tax advice and all of that stuff. So if you're in Colorado, also put your business contact information out there too. Dave's great. He loves taxes. So that's what I always think about.
Happy to help.
I remember looking at your bio when I was like looking you up to contact you, and there are like all these like all the individuals that had their profiles and their little bios and stuff, and they're like long. It's like Susan B. Anthony loved to blah blah blah, and then yours just said I love taxes. And I'm like, this is my guy.
I don't mind paperwork.
He's the one.
I'm happy to help.
Yeah. So cool. Well, I appreciate it, Dave. And this will be some good guidance, I think, to give to my clients and anybody else who's a business owner right now or has people to take care of. So.
Yeah, this is the bulk of it. This is everything that's out there that, you know, you may or may not have access to. But this is it in a nutshell.
Nice. All right. Well, Dave, everybody.
Thanks for the time today. Good luck, everybody.